You had the conversation, maybe more than once. You were calm, you were clear, you did not yell, you did not blame. You said exactly what you needed. You explained how you felt using all the right language. You gave them space after. You did everything the way you were supposed to do it, and nothing changed. So you went back and wondered if you said it wrong, if the timing was off, if maybe you were not quite clear enough. So you tried again, a different approach, more patient this time, more careful, and still the same distance, the same shutdown, the same cycle. Here is what nobody wants to tell you, because it feels cruel to say it plainly. The problem was never your communication. It was never the delivery, the wording, the timing, or the tone. You were not one better conversation away from breakthrough, because what you were dealing with was never a communication gap. It was an avoidance architecture. And those are two completely different problems that require two completely different solutions. Except one of those solutions is not yours to give. Avoidant attachment is not a misunderstanding. It is a defense system. It was built, usually long before you arrived, to keep emotional closeness at a manageable distance. And that system does not respond to good communication the way an open person does. When an open person hears a clear, calm expression of need, they receive it. They adjust. They meet you somewhere. When an avoidant hears the same thing, their nervous system does not register safety. It registers demand. It registers encroachment. Even the most loving, carefully worded expression of need can land as pressure to someone whose entire internal wiring says that needing and being needed are both dangerous. You were not talking to someone who did not understand you. You were talking to someone whose body was treating your honesty like a threat. And this is where it gets painful, because most people respond to that by becoming better communicators. They soften the language more. They add more reassurance. They preface every hard thing with something warm. They shrink the ask down until it barely resembles what they actually needed, hoping that a smaller version of the truth will be easier to receive. What that actually does is teach the avoidant that your needs are negotiable, that if they wait long enough or go quiet long enough, the ask will get smaller. And it usually does, because you were willing to work and they were willing to let you. That is not a dynamic built on communication failure. That is a dynamic built on one person carrying all the emotional labor, while the other person remains in the comfortable position of never having to change. Here is the part that stings the most. Avoidants are often excellent communicators in every other area of their life. At work, with friends, in low-stakes situations, they can be articulate, thoughtful, even emotionally intelligent. So when they shut down with you, it is easy to internalize it as something specific to you, something you caused, something about the way you show up that makes genuine conversation impossible. But that shutdown is not about your communication. It is about intimacy. Specifically, the level of intimacy that romantic attachment creates. That is the zone where the defense system activates. That is where the walls go up. Not because of anything you said, because of what closeness itself represents to them. You could have been a perfect communicator and landed in the exact same place, because the barrier was never between your words and their ears. It was between their feelings and their ability to tolerate them. None of this means you stop communicating. It means you stop communicating as a strategy to fix someone else's avoidance. It means you say what you need once, clearly, and then you watch what happens next. Not what they say, what they do, over time. Consistently. Because here is the quiet truth that changes everything. A person who is doing the work, who is actually, genuinely engaging with their own avoidant patterns, does not need you to find the perfect words. They need you to be honest. And your honesty, even when it is uncomfortable, becomes something they move toward rather than away from. If every honest conversation you have pushes them further away, that is information. Not about your communication skills, about their current capacity for intimacy. You were never the problem to solve. You were the person asking, reasonably, to be met. And being met was never something better communication was going to make happen. That was always going to be their choice.